Welcome to the Soto and Chad show. And man, it's been a while since we've done one of these. We haven't talked
Yes.
in a while. Well, I mean, me and you have talked, but podcast wise. But
Oh yeah.
um, basically, we wanted to talk today about Returnal. We just beat this about a month ago. It, it's
Yeah.
probably, is it? Soto, let me ask you, is this the hardest co op game we've ever beaten? I mean, it's got to be, right? It's got to be up
Dude,
there.
what is harder? I talk about talk about all of our, co-op games. Army of Two, maybe on hard mode. What hard games have we played, really? Maybe Broforce was kind of hard in the way that we always died, but it was more fun with Mel and Madness. But no, this, as far as we had to focus and not talk to each other for times, this has to be the hardest co-op game we've ever done,
Yeah, no, I agree.
without
And
a
I
doubt.
know, no, yeah, because it was up there. Like I said, we started with Army of Two. We did Resident Evil games.
Yep.
I mean, I remember those We Were Here series, and I think those are just frustrating puzzles. I don't consider that hard. So,
Oh
but
God, I hate
Returnal
those
was,
games.
even though it was hard and it was difficult, and we had our frustrations, it was a friggin' great game. But
Oh
I got to
yeah,
ask you before we get into the, you know, realm of Returnal and stuff like that.
sure.
Out of all the co-op games we played, where would you rank Returnal? Do you think this is the best co-op game that we've played?
Well, as far as the best game, probably the best actual game. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Resident Evil 6 is the best game that we've ever played. Story-wise, that game was absolutely ridiculous. And also Resident Evil 5, which we spent a lot of time playing too. So, of course, I feel like I had more fun playing Resident Evil games because obviously of the shenanigans that we get into. But from a visual standpoint, from game design, from just the whole entire, concept of the game itself, maybe not story wise, but from an overall co-op experience, because, we played Dying Light, which I thought was kind of fun, although that ended up just being me and you drop kicking everything off of buildings. We didn't do that so much in Returnal, but, best overall
We would
game
have if we could, though.
objectively. Oh, 100%. If there was a way to do it, we would have done it all the time. But I think we spent most of the time running for our lives. Uh, there was just no time to think about anything. It was such a how do I explain it? It's such a guttural game as far as you're playing Returnal and you're just running off of instinct. There's no time to think. Um, we did come up with strategies ahead of time, and sometimes they worked, but a lot of times we had to throw those out the window and just figure things out as they were happening. And so, just from a game design, and objectively speaking, I think it has to be the best game that we've played so far, co-op wise. There's just no way that we haven't. I mean, maybe the Blair Witch Project is a close second, um,
But that was just
but
you watching me. That wasn't even co-op. That was just you watching me.
it felt like we were playing it together.
We were painful together.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion.
So yeah, I look at that as Returnal is probably one of the more beautiful games that we played. Because yes, we have done a lot of the old school
Oh, by
games, which
far.
obviously may not have aged wisely, and it's tough because
Hmm.
what makes a co-op game fun. And you're right, Resident Evil 5 and especially 6. And I know a lot of people shit on 6, but I think just we just made that hilarious. Like it wasn't supposed to be a fun game, but we made that fun. But to me,
Oh no, of
I
course.
guess I mean Returnal's definitely up there, and I'll get into that
Hmm.
in a second. But I always think there's always two that come to mind as far as games me and you have played, and um, A Way Out and It Takes Two. Because I think the stories were
Oh
decent, and I think it
yeah.
felt like a co-op game because there was parts where you had to do your shit so I can do mine. We
Sure.
had to actually work as a team. It wasn't like Returnal, which don't get me wrong, it was fun where we're like maybe one of us is standing and trying to kill monsters, and the other's just running around in circles, and we know which one's which, Soto. But just it worked though. It worked for us. But yes,
I run
Returnal.
on instinct.
It happens. It's like you're right. We come up with a plan, then we get in the room. The green light comes on, area lockdown. We're like, fuck, and then we're just like, all right, just shoot whatever moves.
The
But
key
I
is to
have to admit,
survive.
the only, I loved Return. I thought the gameplay was easy to pick up. I thought,
Yeah.
yes, it is frustrating because, we can spend 2 hours trying to, build ourselves up just to get wiped out even before we face a boss, and you feel like you wasted. Now, I know you get experience. I know we were learning and stuff
Ah,
like that. And I know that, but
brutal.
when you're like, we felt like we had a plan and we were almost ready, and then just a dumb room wipes us out and we have to start over, and it is it just brings you down. So, but I thought that made when we finally succeeded at a boss, especially like Nemesis. I think Nemesis was the hardest boss for us, and I heard it's the hardest boss in the game. So it took us a while to finally get going. And I think when we beat that, you just heard it in our voices because we were just like, yes. Finally, story wise, I hardly know what happens in Returnal. I don't even know how it ends. It seems too open, minded and stuff like that. It's not a opening, and that's the only thing. I kind of like stories just to be over at the end, but overall, yeah, Returnal was just amazing. I think we just had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, I think the most important thing, and you touched on this too, is that when you are playing a game that's really hard, the payoff is just so great. And when we were going against the bosses that we went against, especially the last one, which I underestimated, Ophion or whatever the hell he's called.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, just the release of that was so great, and I think that you haven't played any of the FromSoft games like Bloodborne and Dark Souls and Elden Ring and Sekiro and all that stuff, but that's where you get that high from, which we experienced is just being like, this is hard, this sucks. You get demoralized, but then once you like get through that barrier, God damn, it feels good. And I mean, I'm very embarrassed that in the video that we have, 492 people have heard me say like I just nutted all over the floor. And so I'm not like so much excited about the views, but I just get more and more embarrassed the more views we have because I'm like, oh, really cool. Oh, wait.
they didn't last to the end. Who knows? But.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, yeah, like it was a release to say the least.
So the funny thing about Returnal and watching a lot of the boss fights back, I have to laugh at something. And this, I'm going to make fun of our friendship a little bit about this. Just have a little. Every boss fight that we've had, from Frike, the first one, I forget the second one's name, so on there's basically 5 boss fights. One of us has died. Now, let me point something out though. 3 times you have died, and I'm just trying to figure out how to survive, and I ended up beating the boss. What did I not do? What did you do? But both times I died, you made the attempt to revive me. First time it worked well with Nemesis. The second time I'm like, you're fucking crazy. I'm like, no, just focus on the boss, because I saw how close his bar was. So it's like, yeah, I went down. You're like, I'm saving my friend. He's coming to the end. You go down. I'm like, oh, I'm going to fucking finish this once for all. I'm going to avenge you. So it's just, it was funny that, it happens. You're in the moment. With Fry, because we didn't know, and I think because we misjudged the health bars. I thought I was dead because I thought there was one more full health bar to come the way they had it set up, but it helped us learn. Oh, it's only these 3. They just do it differently than most games do. But yeah, I laughed because every time you died, I did not get a chance to revive. No, I did not attempt or whatever. You know what I mean? When we officially beat him this time, it happens. We the experience is there. But I laughed. I'm like, yeah, Soto. He's like, we've done this long enough. You're gonna see this at the end. I'm like, just lie there, bud. I got this shit.
Like for me, it's like I know I can't do this alone. So like, if you go down, I'm like, I'm gonna do everything it takes to get this motherfucker back in this. I was like, I can't fucking do this. You have the ability to beat those bosses. I fucking don't. I was like, no, I need your ass. I will risk everything to bring you back to life so that I have a chance to fucking get through this shit. Absolutely.
So we don't waste 2 or 3 hours. No, but I found that funny. But yeah, Returnal to me was one of the funnest experience co-op wise. Like I remember the first co-op game that I played, not in arcades, but like I remember the Sega Genesis playing Toe Jam and Earl, and I thought it was amazing that they did a split screen and you each can do your own thing. It wasn't like so to how far they've come. It's just like Returnal was just. I don't know. It was definitely a relief to finally be done with that game. It was wow, we fucking did it. And I know we laugh and we're like, it took us 5-6 months, but mind you, we met just once a week, if that. So it's like the first half an hour, we're like, all right, hold on, how do we play this? And so if we played every day, or we were able to beat up even an hour, I know it'd have been sooner. But man, it took us I think 2-3 months maybe for Nemesis. I don't know. I could be exaggerating on that.
Well,
but
so I'm watching a video of that guy, some people playing this, and we were talking about this a little earlier about the Tower of Sisyphus or whatever. I don't have time to get that good at this game. I'm married. You're married. We have jobs. Like I was watching that video and I was looking at Sarah and I was like, I can't get this good at a game even if I wanted to. And I definitely don't want to. Like, I'm very happy that in between our adult old man lives, we were able to beat a very hard game. Because as a person who just had to turn Baldur's Gate down to easy, it's nice to be able to look at myself in the mirror and be like, I did that. But no, I'm not going to spend 10 hours practicing that fucking tower, getting all the weapons where they should be. I don't have fucking time. I just
Yeah,
don't.
I did that tower every now and then, and I don't know. I think it just helps practice. And there's a whole second story, another like because I know that's
Oh
DLC,
yeah.
which I could not get to. Like I think you have to get to like floor 30, and I just like once we beat it, I'm like,
God.
all right, I'm fucking done. I'm like, I do not need to complete this tower scene. I know there is no completion, but once you get to 30, you get the story completion, and then you just keep
Yeah.
going until you can't go no more. And it
Oh
is
God.
it helps upgrade your guns, and that's about it. That's the one benefit of the tower if you got time. But outside of that, there's not much to that tower shit.
A
But
guy had a level 45 Dreadbound,
hmm
Dreadbound or whatever it's called. Level 45.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just can't. But yeah. To go back to your point, overall, great fucking game, great fucking time, and again, one of the best looking games we've definitely co-opted. But I will say, you are also right that It Takes Two, also a gorgeous game.
yeah, just in a very different way. But yeah, but anyhow, I mean, Returnal was great, and I'm glad we played it. And we played it just because it was free. I think that's what it just came down to. It was free, and we're like,
Oh my
let's fucking
God,
do
best
this.
free game ever, dude. I mean, what would I pay for this game if I had to pay for it? I would definitely, knowing what I know now, I definitely would have paid full price for this game. This game is like, it's one of those masterpieces. It's a good game.
It is, and I'm glad we definitely had this experience. And to those who haven't played Returnal and like a little bit of a
Hmm.
challenge, or and that was the other
Yeah.
thing, real quick. We found out quickly that playing co-op was almost like 3, 4 times as hard as playing solo. Like we've done shit solo when we were just kind of
Yeah.
figuring things out, practicing. That we're like, why
Way
can't we do
easier.
this co-op? Like they turned it up to 11, and I thought they were
Hmm.
like, you're doing co-op? Yeah, no, this isn't twice as hard. This is going to be 4 times as hard. Fuck you, take it. So I thought
Dude,
that was, I thought that was great that they
yes.
did that.
We earned our shit. Damn, we earned our shit.
But is there any final thoughts that you have of Returnal and the experience as a whole before we end this?
No, I mean, I hope to someday go back to its single player and kind of experience it. I think maybe one day I will, just because I would kind of like to go through that experience. But that's pretty much my final thoughts. Great game, and I'm sure I'll be playing it in the future.
Definitely. Returnal was so much fun, and I'm glad we did this. So, to those of you who did play Returnal, whether it's co op or single, let us know what you thought of it, what you think of the game. Tell us your frustrations. What parts fucked you up, just like us? We had a lot of them. So, but until next time, I just nutted everywhere.
Yeah, no, no. Oh fuck. Oh my god, fuck that shit.
Best line ever.
Oh, it was of all the things I could think of, like achieving something. That's the first thing that came to my mind is that not that I nutted, but I nutted everywhere in this environment.